the Brown boys, the Brown boys, the Brown boys, we the Brown boys, the Brown boys, we the Brown boys. Now, they never used the term provoke when it came to Chud the Builder. I was using that term. I said, yo, he provoking people and using a racial slur. You can't just do that. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's stupid to even try something like that. And that's harassment as well. You know what I'm saying? So here it is that when Austin Metcalf said, not Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony said, hey, touch me and find out. They're saying that was him provoking. I'm like, that sound more like a warning to me. Sounded more like I'm gonna sit here and chill like I've been doing. And you got a problem with me being here. You touch me and you go find out what I'm gonna do back to you for touching me. That sounds more like a warning. That's not a threat, you know. And this is my thing. Nobody never asked this question. Would I have brought a knife to attract meat? No. But I was on the larger side of a child, you know. I wasn't 130 pounds and I wasn't walking around at 5'6". So I have a physical presence that I'm a little more confident. I done got jumped before where I lived, you know. So I'm a little more confident than a 5'6", 130-pound kid, compared to a 215-pound, 6'2" kid. And size does matter. Yeah. Size do matter. Because if I jump on a regular size guy, first thing they gonna say is Kwame, big as a motherfucker. Now, if I lose, they're gonna say, hooray, he kicked his big ass. But if I win, they're gonna say, boy, he was too big to be fighting that dude. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, why are they using the language provoked when Carmelo is just using his words? You shouldn't chimp out. That's what Chud the Builder was saying? It seemed like he chimped out and he put his hands on somebody who was serious that didn't want you to touch him. And if he did not put his hands on him, and if he would have went and got, let's say, an administrator, because they keep trying to talk about this tent culture. Okay, fine. We got a locker room culture, cool. But we got doors that lock on our locker room. So we ain't had to worry about nobody coming in our goddamn locker room. We slammed the door on you, and we had security by the door. And we let them do their job. But what we did not have was players that was going to go get in fights like they were security guards to get people out of tents. Shouldn't it be a rule that yes, you don't allow people in your tent, but don't you have administrators and teachers or track coaches that can do their job as an authority figure to get a young man out of a tent? Don't you think why ain't nobody talking about that? They keep talking about a knife that we all saying that we wouldn't have bought, but it's not illegal for him to have a knife there. It's against school policy. It's against school policy, so he shouldn't have had it, but it's not illegal. But why ain't nobody talking about in this tent culture, um, who is supposed to administer the justice? The players? So they're telling these young kids, you're the leader. Somebody come in this tent, they got to turn into bouncers. So they're encouraging these kids to fight. I think that's the flaw right there. Because okay, you don't want nobody in your tent, but if it's raining and all that, why couldn't he just sit there for a second until the rain stopped? And I definitely don't think this is a school policy that's backed up by the law, KB. I don't know. And the judge, I thought they said it's not a crime for him to have it. I found some videos. Hold on, I got a video. I'm no expert. I don't really believe in experts, but damn sure don't know the law more than most people. But I do think it's unfortunate that a situation like this happened where it seemed like the kid was just sitting there. He spoke to a kid that he knew, and it seemed like he was just sitting there after that. And there are people like that. They don't want to be bothered. They just want to mind their dang on business. and you leave them the heck alone. But I guess they were telling these kids to, get these other kids out of the locker room or out of the tent. Don't allow other kids to come in the tent. And it's more like a team bonding type of thing. Like, this is our tent. This is our space. I get that, but that don't give you the right to assault somebody. And nobody's talking about that. They're trying to soften the blow. Now, I'm bigger than most people, right? And so sometimes I can not intentionally, I can push or touch somebody on and thinking I'm joking, thinking I'm playing. But because of my size, because I'm bigger, then that push could be harder than what my intentions are. And I've had friends tell me, boy, God damn, you stop pushing me like that. That was heavy. You heavy handed. And sometimes you don't know your own strength, but still, that doesn't give you a right to put your hands on somebody because you don't want them in your tent. So they already killed the whole first degree murder. Now they're trying to prove intent just because he had a pocket knife. A lot of kids carry a pocket knife. Some of them don't bring them to school, but a lot of kids carry a utility knife, pocket knife, whatever. You use it for whatever you want to use it for. I got a neighbor, his kid ain't nothing but like 12, 13 years old, but this boy shoot guns all the time, carry a buck knife. He carry it everywhere he go. His daddy taught him it. So I just don't understand, just because you have a weapon don't mean you are going to use a weapon. So that's what I was saying, Paul. If they're going to charge him with something, they should have charged him with manslaughter, and that may have been a slam dunk case. But if you're going to try to charge a kid with first degree murder, you're going to take away his whole life for sitting down, telling somebody, "Don't touch me." Is that what you're telling me? You're going to take a teenager's life away that ain't never been in trouble. And the media tried to depict this kid as some angry, mad kid. And then you look at what they say in the courtroom. They said the kid was crying. He ran from the people, ran directly to the police officer, took accountability for what he did. And when they said, "I have the possible suspect," he said, "No, I'm the actual person who did it." So this kid took responsibility for what he did right off the rip. It didn't sound like somebody that was intentionally trying to hurt somebody. Then he gets in the back of a squad car and he asks how the person is doing. That don't sound like somebody that was trying to intentionally unalive somebody. It sounds like a kid that is not really, it sounds like he was moving around in fear. He was fearful that he's a smaller kid. Now, he didn't want to be touched. And I don't think that should be, nobody don't want to be touched. Why bring a weapon to a school event? I can't speak to that. I'm not 130 pounds. I said I wouldn't do it. But again, I grew up fighting. So getting jumped or fighting one-on-one, cool. I would live another day. But I'm not walking around at 5'6", 130 pounds either. And that's why I tell people you gotta first get your kid a baseline of self-defense so that these kids don't need to feel the need to walk around with all these weapons. A lot of these kids are walking around fearful because look at these teen takeovers. Look at what these kids are actually doing to each other. Y'all don't know. Y'all are not walking around in these kids' shoes. Y'all don't know what's happening for real. Especially a young man, a young male, and he's on the smaller side of a young man. Hell, if I was 5'6", 130 and nobody put me in karate, my parents never put me in boxing, so I'm not trained on what to do, shit, I might have me a brick and a knife. I'm just saying. And just having something to protect yourself don't mean you're going to use it. And I think that if that young man had not put his hands on Karmelo Anthony, that knife would have stayed in his bag. Because the only thing he said he would use it for is if someone touched him. in a manner that he didn't want to be touched. So that's what it sounded like to me. So I don't know how they're gonna get. And I don't got no dog in the fight, and I don't do the black and white shit. And white people have proven to me that some of them that they're just as racist that some black folks say that they are, because they don't give the benefit of the doubt on nothing when it comes to us, when it comes to a white guy doing something. But when a black kid does it, they rally around, they put money up, they do everything in their power to let you know they don't give a feet up. So I'm just gonna stick to the facts. And the facts are what they are. People are focusing on what people are saying in the media and what some black people that are being interviewed are saying. That don't got nothing to do with the actual case. The actual case is in black and white saying that Karmelo Anthony was sitting down with his hand in the bag. It ain't no crime to have your hand in the bag, and you can't prove that he had his hand in a knife because you could on a knife because you could not see his hand. He could have had his hand on his soda pop and to switch it over to a damn knife. You don't know what he did when his hand is covered up, and it's not a crime to have your hand in a bag. But if he would not have been touched, he would not be reaching for a knife. And that's what the facts say. Because the young man warned him, do not touch me. And when he was touched, he used the knife. So I believe if he wasn't touched, he wouldn't have used it.